We are not sponsored by the CEBL. I just want to make that very clear. Yeah. But hey, CBL, if you want to sponsor our pod, that's okay. We'll kindly accept your generous donation. Those fans wearing those shirts. That's a new merch idea name. Gay for World Scouts basketball.
Yeah.
All right.
With all the uncles.
Yeah.
Uncles only.
Welcome to the World Scouts basketball podcast with Mike and Naim. We're back. How long? How you doing?
Doing good.
Yeah, we're here with our special guest today, Lauren Cardinal, who is back with us too.
Yes, I'm back.
We're all back.
Woo.
I believe Lauren's jumping on as a co-host now. Is that true?
Maybe. Who knows?
I know what you're gonna do, Mike. Surrounded by Cardinals.
Oh yeah, shoot! I didn't even think about that.
You're outnumbered.
Yeah, I can't be outnumbered here. Nepotism name here is
his
family.
Yeah.
Treaty 8 versus Treaty 6. Let's go.
That's right. That's been a theme all throughout, hey? Just everyone's my cousin.
Nepotism name. So how are things? How is everyone doing? Naim, how have you been these last few weeks? I know it's been a while since we've done a podcast, and I think just so our audience knows, obviously Naim and I are pretty busy, and with the school year finishing up here, it's been kind of chaotic, but I think we're going to be switching to potentially once a month. We'll be a somewhat often podcast here.
Yep. Yeah, it's been a busy time for myself. Had a lot going on just with work, and then also just my kids' activities are every night. So like I leave work and then I come home to my real job. So it's been busy.
FYI, like and subscribe.
Yeah, remember to share this.
Yes.
So Lauren, how have you been?
I've been good. Been really busy. Same with you both. May was a really busy month for us since we were working with the WNBA at the beginning of the month, and we also hosted a Moosehide campaign on May 16th with the city of Edmonton. So that took a lot of planning. We had quite a few performances and speakers, so it takes big group effort. And we had the mayor; he came out, and it was really great. So glad to be busy, but now it's kind of yeah. That's
Uncle Sohi came out.
Yeah, provided a nice little proclamation. Yeah, he was great. He posted me on his social media, and I was like, "Oh, am I famous now?"
Oh,
it's awesome. Yeah, I saw both those events on your Instagram story, Lauren. First, tell us about how the WNBA went. Like we were just talking about it last time you were here. Tell us what happened. How'd it go?
It was really great. It was a great time working with the organization. I was probably talking to 4 or 5 different people from different aspects of them. So like their marketing, their game day. We also had a Musquatchie Academy. They had the opportunity to go out to a clinic. So the one thing I really was proud of that the WNBA did was that they brought a lot of events to the city while the weekend was happening. So they had quite a few giveaways, and like they lit up certain parts of the city with like the WNBA logo, and if you went there, then you got like free tickets to the game. I also attended a couple leadership panels that they hosted as well, but it was really well run. We had a rehearsal, so Saturday we had all the dancers, the elder. We had a very like specific time slot because we were the pregame, so the game had to start at it was like down to like the millisecond that our like time slot was worked into. It was like we were on at like 7:10:35, and we were like off the court by like 7:15:22. It was something like very specific.
Wow.
Like so we were like very like diligent, and like we had to really communicate with the dancers and the singers, being like, we really only have like this minute and like 40 to like perform. And it was great. So we had our elder, Myrna Yellowbird. She is from Musquatchie. She came out and she did a prayer. So the way it worked out. It was I had to provide a script to the PA announcer, so talked a little bit about Red Dress Day, like what it was about and like why do we have it, and then transitioned to the camera pointing to Myrna Yellowbird, and she gave a prayer in silence, just like a quick one, like less than a minute, and then she raised her sweetgrass, and then that was the cue for the drummers to start, and then we had 4 dancers, so we had Christy Nipu, she danced a fancy shawl. We also had Ruby Sunchild. She did a traditional dance. We had one of our Tiny Tots jingle dress dancers from Musquechiece as well, Carleen Cutknife's daughter. She did jingle. And then we had Danny Okama do, she also did jingle. So we had all those 4 dancers dancing around the drum group at like center court, which was really surreal because everyone stood up for the prayer. And so everyone was standing while the dancers were performing. And I thought that was like, kind of reminded me of like a national anthem when like everyone's standing up to like honor like the moment. And I was like so like touched because I like with Myrna. So like I walked her onto the court so she just wasn't walking by herself and like knew where to go. And so I was like with her right there. And it was quite a sight to see. And it like got a lot of reception really well. Like a lot of my friends were there and they like messaged me. They're like, oh, I really wanted to take a video. I just didn't know if it was appropriate or not, but it was like so beautifully done. And I was like, oh, that's okay. I was like, I'm glad you just like enjoyed the moment and like had a great experience and like also got to watch an Unreal game at the same time. So yeah, it was such a great experience. So I was really happy and they were super happy with us, like the NBA Canada and like WNBA. They sent us like basketballs. So be prepared. ISCA will probably be giving out some WNBA basketballs soon. Sending us a box. So that's awesome. But yeah. Did you guys get to attend or get to watch it at least online or anything?
Yes, I watched on TV. I didn't watch in person, unfortunately. Yeah, but I can only imagine how proud you must have felt when that was all happening. Like, it's so cool. Not only like being yourself, obviously Indigenous, but also being one of the main reasons why that event even took place. Why that session happened, and being able to recognize that MMIW is like so important and so huge for all the Indigenous people that were watching. So Lauren, I'm extremely proud that you're able to do that. Like, that's so cool.
Thank you. It was great. And I don't know if you saw, like, some of the broadcasters did have the red dress pins. Some of the coaches did wear, but none of the players had them on. But like, I know they like take off their warm-ups and stuff, but we did see like the broadcasters like on the court with the pins on. So we had the beater, Ivy Roasting. She was in the crowd and she actually saw like the broadcasters wearing them and she like posted on Facebook. They're like, oh, they're wearing my pins. And I was like, oh, I was like so happy for her. Like glad to see like all the hard work she did for us and like seeing it pay off. And yeah, it was such a huge event. And yeah, it was so good. I wish it was on TV. Yeah. It was just like before like the national anthem, but we are going to post like a bunch of videos and pictures from the event. I was just compiling like different angles and different videos. So, because I know a lot of people didn't get to see it and they like knew about it. So I was like, okay, we'll post it on like our ISCA social media so everyone can kind of share it and talk about more about it. So yeah.
That'll be cool.
That's amazing.
Yeah. You mentioned Carleen Cutknife. If I could finally say I have a cousin that was mentioned on the
pod. Yes, she was there. She brought her daughters, Kalea, she danced. Yeah. So, and Carleen actually danced for us for Moose High too. So, cousin power.
Yeah. We're gonna find more reasons to mention Mike's cousins. I watched the game on TV. It was really good. Like, I found it was super competitive for like a preseason game. Like, you watch NBA games, like I've been to like preseason NBA games when they're in Edmonton, and you know the superstars aren't playing, but all of like the big name players were in this game, and that was really awesome to see. Did you get to meet any of them?
No, I didn't. I was like, oh, that'd be really great, but we like missed them when their shoot. They had like a closed shoot, and like we probably missed them by like 20 minutes. It was something like that, like when our rehearsal was. But yeah, we just didn't want it. They were like pretty tight on security. Like we were like all huddled with like 2 people, and they were like taking us through Rogers for a rehearsal. And they're like, okay, like stay together. Like we're doing a bunch of other stuff. And they're like, don't take pictures and post it. Like it'll be, you guys will get like fined or something. We're like, okay. Like we can post it now, but like they're like, you can't post anything now because they like just unveiled like the new court and like they had a bunch of like,
Oh yeah.
like WNBA
Wow.
Canada game marketing there that they wanted to like reveal. So we're like, okay. So but yeah, they said that was the first like Western Canada WNBA game ever, and like there was over like 16,000 people attended, so it was like a huge turnout. So it's kind of like, holy crap, like potentially 16,000 people were like in the building when this like event took on, or like heard the drums.
Yeah.
A lot of people said that like, oh, I heard the drums, but like I was in line for food, or I was in line for merchandise, and I really wanted to come see it, and then it was done, and I was like, yeah, I know. It was like it was a quick minute, like. But I was like, it was still an impactful minute if you got to experience it. And so I'm hoping that when we post on social media, it'll kind of gain a lot of traction as well, which will be great.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and it's so cool that it was at Rogers Place, because it was the Toronto Raptors were also at Rogers Place in Edmonton, and there was nothing but praise for the arena. And it's so cool that the WNBA was able to experience the same thing.
Yes, like it was a really great crowd, and it was a lot of fun. And so, yeah, it was really great.
It looked packed there. Like I was looking in the crowd when I was watching on TV, and I was like trying to see if I knew anyone. And I was like, where's Lauren? Lauren in there somewhere.
Yeah, it was like the whole like lower and like kind of mid court area were like all full, and like especially like the upper bowl, like it was really well attended. Like Oilers games are always really packed, so it's not really a good example, but it was for sure like 75% like capacity from what I saw at least. And yeah, and the crowd was super engaged. Like, yeah, they had these two ladies that were wearing like "I'm gay" for women's basketball shirts, like, and they kept like, on the jumbotron. It's like, oh my gosh! I was like, there are kids here. It was great, and like Kia Nurse, like Darnell was in the crowd, and so was Evander. So like you can like see them like not even that far away, and you're like, oh my gosh, like there's so many like people here. And like Kia Nurse did a lot of speaking, and because like she like obviously trained with the Olympics and their training camps in Edmonton, so she's like familiar with it. So she gave like a big speech, not super big, but like a quick little like introduction, and we did like kind of like recognizing her as like a Canadian and on the team. And so, but I thought it was more cool to see Cameron Brink like play. Like,
I was gonna say, yeah,
yeah,
seeing Cameron Brink live.
And I was like, where our seats were, we were like behind that basket. So we saw like the perfect angle and like saw how far it went. And we were just like, I remember like me and my coworkers, we all looked up at the same time and like witnessed it at the same time. And we were just all like, like, oh my gosh, it's like, you do not see a play like that often. And they're like, oh my gosh, that was really good. And I was like, yeah, I know. So no, see, like those are the experiences you want. And like, you want like the Indigenous youth to like also experience as well, because I think we got at least over like 100 tickets that were given to us, so we at least 100 people got to experience the game for free, and that was huge. And I was super happy about that there was like multiple families that were able to attend, and they're like, oh, can I get one more ticket, like so and so wants to come. And I was like just kept getting more. Like we first got 50, and then we got another 25, and then probably 10 hours before the game, they're like, oh, do you want another like 30 or 40? And we're kind of like, okay. So we just like kept emailing people and kept sending them, and just like went down the list that we had. And yeah, so we're like, it really felt like a big community event. It didn't feel like it felt like a professional game, but like with a community feel. Like when you go to like a tournament and you like know everybody and they're there and like get to enjoy the game, like that's what they really, I felt, encompassed really well at that game, for not having a professional women's basketball team there before.
Hopefully soon Edmonton can.
I've been saying this, and then they can call it the Edmonton Grads, because actually it's like a great story. I've been saying
this. Genius.
I know. I was like, get me up there.
Yeah. Get you on those promo teams.
Yeah, exactly.
Get this going. Yeah. Well, Edmonton it's a basketball town. Like it doesn't like appear like that, because like we got the Oilers and stuff, and we got hockey, but it is a basketball city. There's so many people there who play basketball, love basketball, watch basketball. I mean,
even like Alberta, like Calgary, like has a big basketball community, and Lethbridge, like especially like on the reserves, like they have like most of their basketball tournaments are like in Siksika or Sutina or on the Blood Reserve. And that's what like even our staffing talks about. They're like, oh, we need to run more basketball camps in the South. Like that's where all like our NAG athletes come from, is from like Lethbridge and Calgary. So, And for me, I'm like, okay, then we need to develop our players in the North because I want that representation too. But no, it's really good to see like the not just like basketball growing, but like also just like women's sports growing in general, and like especially seeing like Alyssa like Pilly like making the draft and like making the team. I think that's a huge step for like our people as well, and like she's doing well. Like she's holding it down. Like she's obviously like a rookie coming into the league, but like for her to even like be there and like not get like cut is like a huge accomplishment in the WNBA. So I was like, I'm really excited to see where she goes with Minnesota as well.
And the crazy thing is the WNBA doesn't have as many teams as the NBA. So even like the rarity of making a roster today is tough. So
it's like basically making like an all-star team, like every year. And I was like, that's so crazy. So for her to like make it and like still have a spot and like be contributing, I think is like a huge step for like a rookie. I was like, I can't express how excited I am to see like the whole like grad class coming in just really I feel like changed the game and like elevated it. I'm glad that like we in Edmonton got to like witness like that firsthand too. So
we're big Alyssa Pilly fans here. In case you didn't notice.
What? No way.
I was gonna. You mentioned those fans wearing those shirts. That's a new merch idea name. Gay for Work Scouts basketball. I was gonna say we're gay
all right.
For all the uncles.
Yeah.
Uncles only. That's perfect. It's gender inclusive. Like Pride Month.
There was a part of me that kind of thought because of the Caitlin Clark, how she blew up basketball for women in the NCAA. I thought it was going to kind of fade a little bit, but you hear in today's news that she's still killing it, and WNBA is on the rise right now. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, like she is really like brought a whole different conversation like around the league that hasn't even been brought to the surface at all. And like I know she's like getting a lot of criticism, but she's also like an 18-year-old playing against like women. Like you're gonna like make mistakes like no matter how good you were at the previous level. And that's what I tell like my teammates, like my coach. I was like you can be the best at your high school team, but once you come to university, like there are also the best players from their teams. I was like, so how do you work together and to learn from each other and like grow? So I was like, that's why I'm like, Caitlin, I was like, she's going to do unreal. So I was like, yeah, she may be leading the league in turnovers, but I mean, she's also in the WNBA and I'm not. So I'm just going to be quiet.
So. Yeah. Too bad you couldn't make that shoot around though. You could have went and had like a little tryout there for yourself.
I know. I was like, what? Like, just give me some time. I'm pretty gritty. Like you might need a gritty foul. Like I got you. Everyone has a role. I can do it.
Sorry, awesome. I'm just checking. I think Caitlin Clark is one of the top scorers right now in the WNBA. That's when I would last looked. Yeah, she's fourth in scoring right. Oh, that's nightly leaders. Come back to me.
I think she had like a 30-point game not too long ago.
Yes,
which was probably like helped her or highlighted a lot. But I think Cameron Brink is leading the league in blocks. I heard that, and then I think it's like something like 3 or 4 a game. So I was like, that's pretty impressive.
That is really good.
And then I think I saw Angel Reese leads in offensive rebounding. So I was like, okay, like that's still like a solid stat to like contribute in as like a rookie. I was like, that's really good. I was like, it's something.
Pretty good rookie class. Caitlin Clark is 13th in scoring right now for the WNBA, which is huge.
Yeah, like you're in top 20, like as a first year in the league, and you're on like the Indiana team. Like I'm like they got some kinks to work out within their team, but like it's not like she came onto like New York and had a bunch of support and like dropped out. So I was like, she's doing a lot of things on her own. So, but I think when she grows within the game, I think her team is also gonna elevate just as much when she grows as well.
I think Sabrina Ionescu, when she first started, she started with New York, right?
Yeah.
And I think her team was a little rough around the edges, and she had a rough start to her first year. But maybe the points are inflated, but still, nonetheless, to be able to average that much to be in the top 15 for scoring WNBA your first year is huge.
Yeah, it's really impressive. And just for the record, Sabrina's my goat. Oregon Ducks.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so you just like deck out in all her swag or just have all her shoes.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's releasing her second like pair. She just like debuted them probably last week.
Yes, and I looked at, I tried to buy a pair. They didn't have my size.
Only women's size. Now you know how it feels to be a girl trying to get basketball shoes.
That's right. That's
now
right.
It's roles reverse.
Yeah, put me in my place.
No,
okay,
so
just
Mike.
tweet at her. Maybe they'll make bigger sizes for you.
Yeah.
That's what Kayla Gray told us, like the TSN reporter. She was like, if you ever want anything done, just tweet at us. We'll have to listen eventually. So I was like, okay, good to know. So
there you go.
Yeah, wasn't there like a little girl who wanted Steph Curry basketball shoes, but she could never find them.
Yes.
Find them in her size. And Steph Curry made it happen. So yes, reach out. Twitter.
Yeah, don't follow your dreams.
Follow your dreams.
Get your shoes and your shoe size and Sabrina's.
That's what social media is for.
Yeah, bring us together through sport, always.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. So, what would you say, like, aside from seeing Cameron Brink and this amazing event, like what was like the highlight for you the entire weekend?
I think the highlight was I probably saw someone from like from the community that throughout my like every point in my life. Like I saw someone that coached me when I was like from Team Alberta U16. I saw like my old teachers from high school and junior high at the game. So I was seeing a lot of people that like that saw me grow throughout my journey and then also saw like the event. So it was like really like heartwarming and like really felt like that really community aspect that I mentioned that the game brought to Edmonton. So I think that was the biggest highlight. And honestly, my dad was there and he was just so proud. He would like not stop talking about it. And like he was sitting with my old coach and he was like, oh my gosh, she's just been so busy these last 2 weeks, like trying to set this up. And like, I swear she probably only slept like 4 hours last night, like just really hyping me up. So being able to have like, seeing everyone like that has supported me along the way there and like got to experience the game. And I had like old teammates from like previous teams when I was at Red Deer and like Augustana. So it was like, it was really cool to have like to see, I don't know, just finally to have like a game like that in Edmonton and see everyone like kind of show out that I expected to show out. So yeah, that would be the biggest highlight. And honestly, probably seeing all the performers and dancers like super happy after the game. Like they were like, you can tell they were super nervous and like obviously wanted to perform really well. And I was like, don't worry, like just pray, you'll be good. Like it'll be, just think about a sister or think about like a family member that may be affected by this day. I was like, think about them while you're dancing and like everything else will take care of itself. And yeah, just seeing them and like how grateful they were for that opportunity to perform, I think was also like really touched me as well. So yeah, it was like just everyone's like reactions and like emotions like throughout the day was like my favorite part about it. So
that's so cool.
Awesome. Lauren, I got a question, and this like is not to do with the WNBA. Have you played in any native tournaments yet, or have you been on the native tourney circuit at all, or are you wanting to?
I was in NAG, like so leading up to NAG, I was always on it because I was playing with my teammates, and a couple of times I've been asked to go to Calgary, but nothing consistently because I was coaching or still playing. I was like pretty busy already, so I did reach out to the couple of girls that I did play with at NAG, and I was like, hey, like if you guys have a team and like are looking for a player, like let me know. Like I'm pretty flexible if it works, so I can like flex hours if I need to, and like drive down to Calgary because that's where most of the tournaments and most of the players I know that are Indigenous are from Calgary or Lethbridge. So yeah, nothing like fully, not like a powwow trail or anything, but I was like, you know what, I should. Like I'm still young and like I'm not injured. Like I didn't get hurt, and I was like, I can still do it. So I was like, so I'm like, this last year I've been trying to figure out like coaching and like work-life balance. So like now I kind of got an understanding. And I'm like, okay, I think I can, because they opened up a battle league in Edmonton, kind of like a little pro league. I almost joined it, but I'm on like a standby if they need a sub. And I was like, I'm not going to commit to it in case because I'm pretty busy right now with work. And so I was like, I should start playing again. I'm like, it's so fun. Like was like, recreationally. So at least that's what I always say. I was like, to my teammates, they're like, oh, like, are you sad that you're not playing anymore? And I was like, well, I actually have lots of opportunities. Like res tournaments are like kind of a big thing for like open age groups. So I was like, I wasn't like ever like concerned about that. So
you said you're not injured. What do you mean? You almost had to have plastic surgery on your pinky.
I know. I was like, this is okay. It's not like I have bad knees or ankles or shoulders. Some girls like, I was like, I don't have that. So I was like, I can't really complain about my pinky.
Yeah, some of those res tourneys, some of the floors you play on are a little rough.
Yeah, or slippery.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
and get prepared to play 7 games in like 2 days. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm also kind of scared for. I was like, if I play in these restaurants, I'm playing like 3 or 4 games in like 24 hours. Like I was like, I was like 16, like, and I was like just young and springy and didn't get sore. It's like now I can't imagine if I would know what it's like to not be sore after that.
Yeah, we were talking with Jade on a previous pod, and she had mentioned playing in the All Native. They played like 9 games and what was it named, like 3 days or something, or 4 days. Like they lost their first game, so they had to work their way back. And I was like, oh my gosh, your legs would fall off.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there was that time we went to I think it was North Battleford. We lost our first game, and then we were on the loser bracket. We played 5 games on Sunday.
Yeah,
I wanted to go home by the time we got to the final.
Yeah, that was when I was a young spring chicken.
Yeah,
just lined up and down the court.
Good old days.
Yeah. Okay, Lauren, thanks for coming on. We appreciate you.
Yeah, of course. No, thanks again for asking. And yeah, it was really great. And I was glad I was able to share the insider scoop with you guys. So yeah, thanks again for doing such great work. And yeah, you guys are busy. I don't know how you guys do this on the side as well. I'm kind of like, I'm busy. I was like, you guys have like kids and stuff. I was like, dude, okay, I'm just the same. So yeah, good work. Keep up the good work. And yeah, we'll stay in touch. And I'm sure we'll probably be in contact soon, Michael. Hopefully we can get something with Augustana and you guys again in the fall. So I know Megan's coming back, so she'll probably be the best person to connect with, but we can also spearhead it too. So that's no problem.
She's already contacted me. We got things in motion.
Perfect.
Augustana's coming back to Musquecheese.
Great. That's good. Yeah. I was like, she'd like make a t-shirt that says that. Be perfect. Right.
All right. Take care.
See ya.
Great job. That's so cool. She
really
got to do all that.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Like being able to host an event, host an event like that for Indigenous peoples on such a big stage it's a little nerve-wracking. Like people ask us if this podcast is a little nerve-wracking. I say, no. Things like that would be nerve-wracking.
Yeah, we're not in front of 16,000 people.
Yeah, that's right. Not yet.
Not yet.
Yeah.
Book us. All right. So CEBL just started. What do you got for me?
Yeah. I just wanted to mention a little bit of things in the world of basketball. And it is kind of cool that although the NBA season is going to be coming to a close, we have the NBA finals coming up here. And the Dallas Mavericks have just won. They advanced from the West, I believe. I believe that's correct. But with the NBA finals finishing up here, we got the CEBL just starting. So the CEBL, for those people who don't know, and I imagine you do probably know, especially if you're listening to this pod, because you're probably a basketball sicko just like us. It's the Canadian Elite Basketball League, and it's Canada's very own league, and 75% of the roster is made up of Canadian basketball players. And Edmonton has a team. Saskatoon has a team. There is a Western Conference from Saskatchewan to BC, and then there's obviously the rest, which is the East. And I just wanted to give a CEBL a shout out because it's such a good league. It's been going on for a couple of years now, and like the Stingers have two NBA quality players on their team. They have Davian Warren, who had played in the G League this past season with the College Park Skyhawks, and he averaged 11 points, started for that team, like really solid player. And like these guys are no slouches, and when you go to a game, you're going to be watching really good basketball. And there's also Jacob Evans, who plays on the Stingers, and he played for the Santa Cruz Warriors, but he also had a stint with the Minnesota Timberwolves, who were just eliminated. So really good basketball players. And yeah, if you get a chance, if you're near a team in Canada, you should go watch a game.
Yeah, definitely. And they're coached by Jordan Baker, who we mentioned, who we name dropped on our last episode.
That's right.
One of the best players we ever played against. So yeah, he's on there. I think there's a couple guys, former Bears players on the team. So they recruit a lot of the Bears players as well. So that's pretty awesome. If you're not familiar with the CEBL, we also talked about Mike Linklater. He won a CEBL championship in the inaugural season with the Saskatoon Rattlers, which is pretty amazing.
Yeah. Stingers also have Ben Cricky, Jasper Place alumni from Edmonton, Alberta. He went and played at Iowa. Actually, thinking about it now, he would have been at Iowa when Caitlin Clark was also there.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
So that's like 6 degrees of separation. Like you went to the same school as Ben Cricky, who went to Iowa with Caitlin Clark. So there's your connection.
That's right. Yeah. So that's right.
That's 3 degrees though. Yeah. Yeah. The thing I like about the CEBL, like I haven't had a chance to check out a lot of games this year, but the thing I really like about it is the way they finish the games with the target score. It's not a timed game. It's like a first to whatever the points need to get to. And I think it's like the cutoff is at the 4-minute mark or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Really, it makes for really exciting games. Now, the downside with that is, unfortunately, if a game ends up in free throws, which it does sometimes happen. But I mean, you see it in the NBA All-Star game the one year, and it made for like one of the most exciting All-Star games in the past however long it was. But and it makes these games also way more exciting too, because you finally end the game on a 3 or a dunk or a layup or whatever it is. Like, yeah, it makes for a fun time for sure.
Yep. Yeah. And the basketball tournament, TBT does that too. That's like a $1 million basketball tournament. Yeah. It's pretty exciting. Cool.
We are not sponsored by the CEBL. I just want to make that very clear. Yeah. We just want to support local. But hey, CBL, if you want to sponsor our pod, that's okay. We'll kindly accept your generous donation.
Yeah, we're not going to argue that. Yeah, NBA Finals have been set. Dallas just won tonight.
Yes. Kyrie Irving. He is returning to the NBA Finals starting Thursday, June 6th is game 1 going against Boston Celtics, his old team. Holy smokes.
It's going to be good.
The NBA is scripted. This is this is a crazy final that's going to be happening. I can't imagine being in Kyrie's position right now, going to play Boston in the NBA Finals.
Yeah, it's going to be really good. Yeah, I haven't watched a lot of basketball. I'm not gonna lie, but like I've been keeping up with like highlights and the scores and stuff. But I think it's going to be really exciting finals, like with Luka and Kyrie, and then like Tatum. And
oh my gosh,
rest of Boston, like it's gonna be good.
We had this discussion last time. Is Jason Tatum Indigenous? We don't know yet. One Google search said he was, but if you had to choose between Dallas or Boston, for sure go with the Indigenous for sure guy, which is Kyrie as of right now.
Yeah. And I can confirm that Tatum is not my cousin. So I'm just putting that out there.
Just before we get into the finals, I will say that I was watching the playoffs pretty closely. I had a great time watching the Nuggets Timberwolves series, like watching Jokic just be a monster out there. Like he's so casual on the floor when he plays, and he ends up with 38 and 15. Like some of the stuff he's able to do and create for his teammates is unreal. Goes to show why he was the MVP for the NBA. And then in the Eastern Conference, I was watching every single game of the New York Knicks. I was fascinated by them. They had a starting lineup that didn't impress like anybody really. They had Jalen Brunson, who was an NBA All-Star, but for the most part, they had four of the guys who just worked their butts off. Now, unfortunately, because they have Tom Thibodeau as the coach, they ended up playing, 50 minutes a night. and by the time they reached Game 7 against Indiana, like OG Anunoby was injured. Jalen Brunson ended up leaving with a hurt wrist. And Josh Hart ended up injuring himself. So, like, obviously, when you play that many minutes for such a long period of time, there are going to be some injuries. And I kind of hope Thibodeau switches up his strategy a little bit. Like you're running your team to the ground when you do that kind of stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And he needs to watch the Oilers a little bit. Wade Knobloch coaches. He's getting those third and fourth liners in there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and not just loading up on McDavid and Draisaitl. So
yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Take a page out of Knobloch's book.
Yeah. And the Oilers, our series is tied 2-2.
Yeah. Been an Oilers fan since day one.
Since Wayne.
Yeah.
Wayne
since
G.
Wayne. Yep, that's right.
Yeah, so the NBA finals are set. So we're a little all over the place here. But the NBA finals are set. The first game is Thursday, June 6th. And again, it's Kyrie going back against his old team. He had quite a tumultuous separation from the Celtics, where he had said to the fans and the franchise that he was going to return and that he was loyal to Boston. And there's a commercial made where it was him and his dad dribbling a basketball, and it was all Boston Celtics, everything. And then within 2 months later, he left for Brooklyn. So safe to say Boston fans are not fans of Kyrie Irving. So that's going to be a crazy, crazy game one.
Yes, definitely.
And because it's at Boston, so Dallas is going to be stepping into a pretty heated arena. They thought Minnesota was a pretty testy crowd, but I can't imagine what Boston's going to do.
All right. Olympics are coming up this summer.
Yes,
a little Patty Mills talk.
Little Patty Mills talk.
Yeah.
Patty Mills. If you follow him on Instagram, he's been sort of posting up his daily routines leading up to the Olympics coming up here this summer for the Paris Olympics. And he posts all of his workouts, everything that he does to prepare for the Olympics. And safe to say, Naim and I have been following him religiously, and we've been, completing the prep as well.
Yeah.
Right, Naim?
That's right. We're going to be Olympics ready by the time the summer comes around.
We're going to be Olympics bound.
Yep. Yeah. I just think that's so cool and so interesting that he's posting all his workouts and the way he preps, getting a world-class basketball player to share how he gets ready for something as big as the Olympics. That's a cool inside scoop right there.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that way. It's something I wish you and I talked about it when we were growing up. We didn't have YouTube or anything like that. We often we did, but we had and one. That was probably the extent of what we were able to watch. But nowadays people have access to so many different resources, and like Patty Mills doing this for, you know, Indigenous peoples and just providing his people on his platform like this sort of accessibility is huge. Like it's really cool. Makes
Yeah,
me
it's
jealous.
awesome. Yeah. If I had that when I was growing up, I would have made it. Yeah. I just think like it's so cool like how like he uses so many different like exercises and like just like full body work, like not just like weights. He's stretching, he's doing like yoga, like like flexibility, like mobility, all that kind of stuff. And like I didn't know like how much you like need to work your calves, because like every day he's working his calves, like he's doing like one-legged or like two-legged like calf exercises. And I would never think to do that. Like when we were preparing for like the World Indigenous Basketball Challenge, I was just like, okay, I'm just gonna lift weights and like try to get big as I can and play basketball. Like, like it's not a good plan, but like this is so cool to see.
Yeah, when you think about it, he does like a lot of isometric movements as well. Not even movement, isometric exercises where he's, you know, doing wall sits for a longer period of time, developing that, just making sure his tendons, his knee tendons are healthy. But you can see how like training has also improved so much as well, like not just focusing on muscular strength, but rather focusing on muscular endurance, muscular power, flexibility, all that type of stuff is cardiovascular endurance, making sure that all facets of your own physical strength or endurance are up to par against, you know, because he's going to be how old now? This is his 5th Olympics. Like he's going to need to be able to ensure that his body is in shape for that type of game out there. So
I just checked, he's 35 years old.
Wow.
Yeah. So you're thinking about Olympics, this is 5th Olympics. It's like 20 years of Olympics that he's been to. He's like a kid when he started going to the Olympics.
Yeah, no kidding. Holy smokes.
So we were sent in a question from our good friend Jake in our group chat.
Yeah, Jake was sending Naim and I some questions. He asked what kind of tournament do you prefer? And he had specifically just our thoughts on all native tournaments versus open tournaments or nation only tournaments. You know, what's the good, what's the bad, and what's the ugly for those ones.
Yeah.
What do you think, Naim?
Well, for me, I prefer like playing in all native tournaments. Like I've been to a lot of open tournaments, but I just prefer all native tournaments because you can like make like a really strong team with your friends, and like plus you're seeing all your buddies on the other teams and like you know, competing with them and like catching up with them like on the bleachers and stuff, and just really like getting to watch them play, and it's just a good time. And like I like personally I've never played in a like all nation tournament because like I don't know if I could make a team from my reserve, like throw a hockey team together. Yeah, throw a hockey team together, no problem. But you know, a basketball team would be something else. I mean, I haven't played in any of those, but I think that would be cool if I could. How about yourself?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, have more experience playing in all native tournaments, I guess. And there's a lot more parity in all native tournaments, in that like a lot of the teams are for the most part similar in skill, and like there are closer games and that sort of thing. There's not a whole lot of blowouts in all native tournaments. When you have open tournaments, there can be a squad that's just like absolutely stacked, and there's not like have nothing against that or anything. And when I was younger, I remember playing in open tournaments, and me personally, it actually helped me a lot. And so I enjoyed playing those as well. But yeah, like just having more experiences playing in all native and being able to make a relatively, decent team with our buddies who, are obviously native as well. And, it is pretty fun. But yeah, I honestly, like, either one of them is fine. Nation only, yeah, similar to name. Like I have played it with nations once, but like being from Musquecheese, there's 4 nations within just our community. But if you were to separate, just because I'm from Samson Cree Nation, which is one of the 4, and if we were to create one team, like, we would be okay. I don't see us, dominating in any sense, similar to name, but I still think it would be fun though, like playing in nation tournaments, like just going and, even if you do lose, so what? It's still fun to represent your nation as well. So yeah. I don't have any good, I don't have any bad, I don't have any ugly. I know that people are gonna hate that. Like, I love either of them, man. Like, they're all fun. Yeah.
And it was cool to watch that all like nation tournament that we were. Remember, it was streamed, and because we had Tanton on here, and he was like doing everything. Like, that tournament was pretty cool to watch. It was pretty cool to watch, like, Lanny and those guys from Siksika playing there and stuff, and just representing their community. That'd be pretty awesome. I mean, I think, like, I would appreciate it if they allowed imports for those tournaments, because when you look at, like, big hockey tournaments, like the Freddie, or like any of those other really huge native hockey tournaments, they allow imports for the nation teams. Like, some of them you can have up to 4 imports, but I also know, like, roster size is different between hockey and basketball. I mean, you're probably going to have like 8 or 9 guys for your basketball team. And a hockey team, you're like 15 to 20 guys. And, at least having like a couple imports would be cool. Like, 'cause then you could go like play for one of these other communities and still be able to have that experience.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. Now, imports, like, from one nation to another nation, or a non-Indigenous joining an Indigenous?
It'd be like from one nation to another nation.
Yeah. I mean, I'm also open to having non-Indigenous as well. I would open that up as well, because, like, at the end of the day, it's basketball, right? And like, if you have a non-Indigenous person that's willing to come out to the res and play some ball, like, that's awesome. Like, I would love that.
Yeah. We've played in a lot of those all native +1, like going to Lytton and bringing big Matt with us. Yeah.
Oh, Matt was just bruised up in that tournament.
Yeah, he was getting assaulted. Down there.
Yeah, but I mean, it's still good. Like, honestly, I would say just open up the tournaments, because more people the better in my eyes. And like, if you want more parity, just include more teams, and more people will bring even, the stars will separate a little bit. But yeah.
Awesome. So is that a wrap?
That's a wrap.
That's a wrap. We did it. We're back. We'll probably come back in another month.
Yep, I think so. Thanks for everyone for listening. Be sure to, and we are serious, go out and like and subscribe. Tell your friends about the pod. Find us on YouTube. We are on all platforms. We are just War Scout Pod. So give us a like, give us a follow. If you have any shout outs you would like us to shout out, then just send us an email as well. warscoutpod@gmail.com. Hi.